Hello and welcome to G Crochet Off the Hook, or should I say welcome back, as I have been missing for about 2 weeks. I can say it's been a very busy 2 weeks, and although I've been saying to myself since the beginning of January when I started, I need to get myself a regular spot to chat to you all, that's not happening at the moment. So perhaps I can just be the fill-in amongst many of our favorites, okay? Okay, because I have many inspirational friends on the YouTube streets, and I know that it's hectic just keeping up with all of their creative handcrafting, let alone making time to show you mine. But it is so much fun to share my adventures too. So there is a little bit of catching up to do, and I'm hoping that that means there's not going to be too much editing, because I do have a very special feature. If you've watched Jumanji, those characters that jump into the game have a very special feature, and sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not so great. Well, my special feature is the smoldering look, except my smoldering look leads straight into an animated movie called Emotions. You know, the one where they cleverly show us all those emotions in our noggins, like fear and joy, disgust, hope, anxiety. Well, when I have my smoldering look feature come into play, I have a team event happening where everybody has joined together and everybody is saying, have you got it? Can you give her a word? Somebody, anybody, spill something out. Just give her something, anything. And by the time something does spill out, I have to truthfully tell you, I've moved on to plan C, D, and E, because I've thought about too many other things that I've wanted to say. So I'm going to try and keep to my little list that I have here to catch you all up on what's been happening this April. So let's start with me taking part in Repeat Craft to Me, Sarah's Corner to Corner Houses Cow. And I must admit, I am starting to feel like I'm collecting real estate in the yarny world, as April means that we have presented ourselves with a barn. Another one with lots of color changes, as is the Corner to Corner. And with this one, there are only really 2 new colors that I'm introducing that we haven't heard of so far. This is month 4, and they are right here. I have used a new green, and it's this one called Springbok. Rugby players Springbok green color, and that I used for the grass. And then this beautiful color called Syrup, and Syrup is what I used for the main part of the barn. And if you're familiar with color changes, most color changes, you do need to give yourself little skeins of colors to work with on different sides of the picture that you're creating. And from January to April, this is what my little bin is looking like. So these are leftover little skeins from the different colors that I've used so far. And of course there are still some larger skeins, but of the little ones that I've split off to create all the colors, they are nicely tucked away in this little bin, and I'll be using of these colors in the future squares that we have. So let me just pop this down all the way on the floor and have a little recap of where we are so far. So April was the barn, and March we had a castle. February we had the lovebirds in the birdhouse. And we started off in January with a winter cabin. So that's 4 done, and there are 8 more to go, and all the ends for all of them have been weaved in. That's a plus. These have been lightly blocked, and they are, at the moment, mine are, I think this is 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters. All the ends weaved in, and we have 8 more of these squares to make. Now, as I have mentioned before, there are 2 other squares that are already available. I think it's October and December's one. So if you wanted to, you could find all these that we have already completed on Sarah Repeat Crafter Me on her blog. She has all the squares that we've completed, plus the 2 others that you could jump ahead and do, which I'm not doing. I'll only do them as the months come up. And May is a mystery, and we have about a few more days to wait until we find out what May is going to be. But what do you think about my yarn real estate? I think I'm doing pretty good. And the next 4 makes come from a birthday cal hosted by Lynn from Lynn's Penguin Creations. And I'm going to leave a link to her channel below, and you'll be able to follow along with the weeks that have passed, but also with the week that we are busy with. Lynn loves the color pink, and for her birthday month, she's been giving us gorgeous little projects, very manageable to complete in a week and share with her. Week 1, we all crocheted some pink hearts. And then week 2, we had a penguin. So you could do an applique penguin, an amigurumi penguin. And I did complete a little pink penguin, which I'll insert a picture for. But that little penguin, along with a few other small makes I've made, have already been gifted over the Easter season to some children that could do with a little cheering up. And then for week 3, we got to do a granny in the round, and that I still have with me as I used it for my Easter decorations. I'm not sure I had done a granny in the round, so that was a really fun make, and I did add some pink into the center there. And then for week 4, we are ending off the birthday month cal, making some flower wristlet fidgets. And once again, this is one of those makes that once you get going, you really get into a rhythm and you just can't stop making them. So I've made several of these. And you can make them with the wristlet or without the wristlet as an awesome little fidget. So I'm going to put Lynn's link down below. Go and see her last week of her birthday cal makes. She has a link to a tutorial that you can follow. This has been a lot of fun. And what else did I make in April? Well, I did start off trying to figure out what I did in December when I made my girls these little mushroom lip ice holders. There wasn't a pattern that I followed. I just made a tube with some clusters, added a little dome cap, made a few spots, and a little bag charm accessory where they can keep their lip ice outside of the bag so that they're not hunting for it inside. And once I remembered what I did, some of the caps are bigger, some of them are smaller, but it's all right. They all look like mushrooms and they all keep the lip ice safe and ready for use. they did multiply quickly as well because it's a quick, small make. So I enjoy doing these. And I also wanted to make some flowers for Easter. So I started off rather successfully by completing a tulip with one little petal. And then I really wanted to give lavender a try. And there are many tutorials. The one that I did initially look at is Knotting Hook Crochet. She has a tutorial for lavender stems. And once you see how it's made, you can sort of choose the length of the lavender that you want to make. This one was a bit shorter, the darker purple was a bit longer. I played around with my own leaves I have lots of lavender in the garden, so I wanted to sort of just give this little bushy effect of leaves at the bottom. And I have a good tin bucket full of lavender, which does make me very happy every time I walk into a room and I see them with the one flower that I managed to make. But it wasn't the funnest projects to assemble because me and the hot glue gun just wasn't, well, I was going to say we weren't gelling, but we were actually gelling too well. That wasn't fun. I have crafted with a hot glue gun many times, but I think it's one of those things that you need practice with because I'm pretty sure I don't remember it being this painful in the past. If I could be any more clumsy, well, I don't think I could have been any more clumsy because every time I told myself, now just remember that's where you're putting the glue, don't put your finger there. I would somehow automatically sort of command my finger to be in that spot. So these little flowers took me quite a while to assemble. The crocheting goes very fast. It's the assembly that's, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but the assembly sort of needed an advanced sticker on it for me if you're using a hot glue gun. I know there is fabric glue out there that dries pretty fast, and there's, well, not available to me. There is other glue that you can use. Hot glue gun doesn't smell as strong or have any smell really compared to some of the glues that you get out there. So I persevered, and I'm absolutely elated with the overall effect. I know that crocheting the lavender is really quick, so even in say 2-3 days I could do another 12 with a little greenery. But the putting it together is I don't know, unless I can find a different way to do it. I'm not sure. I think this is going to be a forever just for me bunch of flowers. And I had all these plans of making a couple of these bouquets for Mother's Day, or it would make the perfect gift for an office, for somebody who's not a green thumbed sort of person. But I don't think I'm going to be the girl to make them. I'm just going to absolutely enjoy having my a little tin of crocheted lavender for me to enjoy. So everybody else out there that I've seen that makes these beautiful creations, but knowing that they might require hot glue to assemble, I'm going to stay away for a while. And my work in progress is this fun log cabin blanket, and there's a tutorial by Jill from Gumleaf Crochet and Yarn, and this is my progress so far. It works up really quick. You do need to be mindful of where you're starting each of your logs, and that can easily be achieved by using your stitch markers. And if you watch Jill's tutorial, she does chat about that. I'll just see, I do. I know I need to start here with my next log. And I'm just so in love with these colors. I had them in my yarn stash, and my youngest actually put them all into order, how she thought they should go. And more than anything else, it's the names of the colors that I just love. I love, love, love. The first color is nutmeg, and it really does remind me of, all these colors are very true to the colors in their name. So there's nutmeg. We start with the nutmeg, and then we move to currant. And it's not, it almost has a little bit of a light and dark play to the actual currant. It's not just a red or a reddy brown, or it really is a very beautiful color, this currant. And from the currant we move to a color called clay, and this is sort of a green with very light, well, it's sort of like a mix of green and brown. You can sort of see the little effect over there. So we have nutmeg, currant, and clay. And clay leads us to this beautiful, umptuous brown color that's called leather. And again, I don't know what it is about these solids, but they are solid, yet they seem to have sort of a little bit of something. I almost think this has a bit of an orange in it. Beautiful, warm. All these names just make me think of home and strength and spice and warmth. And our last color from the repeat is ivory. So it's not a white. It's just a beautiful, it's not cream. It's a beautiful ivory color. So that is what we are leading with. We are going with nutmeg, currant, clay, leather, and ivory. Yes. So in their colors, in their names, it just, and the name of the blanket, log cabin blanket. So I think my eldest, who has left the nest and she has moved into her own home, I think this is going to be, well, I know it will be treasured as a very special home-warming gift. So yes, it's going to be exciting or overwhelming, or a bit of both, to perhaps, if I had to turn this camera around, we might be in for a little bit of a shock, but I will insert a picture of where I currently have my yarn, and I'm debating whether it's a good idea to move it out of a small contained area and let it loose in a roomier space. Although the reason that I would move it is because it is hazardous to me trying to get my yarn in the smaller space. You know, you move 4 somethings to get to the one box that you want, and then you put everything back up, and there are times where things can hit you on the head, or you can trip over something. So to perhaps use the space that's become available to me. I've never really thought about it, or you know, but it's here and it's presented itself to me. And if I turn slightly, you'll be able to see perhaps I've already moved some of my yarn containers here, and there are many more all over here. And from other photographs you'll see it was well contained where it was. Letting it loose will help me see more of what I have and what I've forgotten I've had, and maybe that's why there are extra containers with yarn in, because I've been stocking up on things I don't need to stock up on. I'll be doing some yarn videos as I move this stuff about, and perhaps you'll join me, and we'll discover what crafting goodies I haven't seen for a while. Apparently sorting through yarn and maybe getting some in a cupboard, and maybe having a new area to chat to you all from. So have a wonderful weekend. I can't wait. Hubby's been away, and that's been another first, is not having a full house when he's away. So I can't wait to see him this weekend, and yes, hopefully I'll settle down into a bit of a routine and tackle some more crafting goodness with yarn and crochet. So for now, take care, guys. Have a wonderful weekend and happy crocheting.